Okay, welcome everybody to the 69th class in the Bhagavad Gita study series. In this class, we will complete the 6 values that Bhagavan has chosen. So, based on the karma vyavaharaha, jnana vyavaharaha, so Bhagavan picks up 3 topics from this, then and he adds 3 more topics on his own, and he discusses these 6 topics. The reason is, if you understand these 6 topics, Bhagavan thinks you've understood the entire Bhagavad Gita. So he thinks these 6 topics are important. As usual, we would like to acknowledge Swami Paramarthananda Saraswati for the traditional rendering of Vedanta as it was done for over 1,000 years, starting with Adi Shankaracharya. We'll say a small prayer. Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Sada Shiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Patyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Salutations to the lineage starting with Lord Sadashiva, with Adi Shankaracharya in the middle, and continuing up to our immediate teacher, Swami Paramarthananda Saraswati. So with this, we will go to the 79th slide where we left off. So, okay. Okay, so actually, okay. So we've completed Jnanam, Karma, and Karta. Now there are 3 topics that remain: Buddhihi, Dhritihi, and Sukham. So Bhagavan, if you see this here, he is okay. The Jnana Vyavahara and Karma Vyavahara, right? So he has picked 3 topics from these because these are the basis for any Jnana, the subject, object, and the instrument. And for Karma, subject, object, and instrument. And he uses these 3, and he talks about the 3 qualities: Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. Then he picks 3 more topics: Buddhihi, Dhritihi, willpower. Buddhihi is intellect, and Sukham. Now, remember, when we were discussing karma, we talked about who the doer is. Remember the doer. So we Tattva Vittu Mahabaho Gunakarma Vibhagayo Guna Guneshu Vartanta Iti Matva Na Sajjate. The knower of truth knows the division of the gunas and their functions, and they fight without attachment, knowing that it is the gunas which engage with the sense objects and not the higher self or the sakshi or the witness. So who is the doer? The doer is not the sakshi, right? This is a very important point. The doer, all this so sakshi is like the electricity which enlivens the thing, and in that reflect in this pool of light, the electricity, this it is not like a dummy machine, but it's like a machine. Yantra rudani maya, eventually Bhagavan will say, I Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddesherjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudani mayaya. Ishvara lives in the bodies of all beings and makes them do things like as though they're mounted on a machine. Like it's a machine. It does so, but it's like electricity. So that is the true nature of the consciousness. So the consciousness is like electricity. It just provides the consciousness. Then, depending on the reflecting medium and all that, each does an individual action. So the body, depending on how our mind is, if it is a very corrugated mind, everything is crooked. If it is smooth mind, it reflects the light exactly like that. Okay. So is it clear? So who's the doer? The doer is the gunas that engage with the sense objects. And what provides the gunas? The energy, it comes from the consciousness. So in this pool of reflected consciousness, so there is original sakshi tattvam, that is you. Then it reflects of the mind as the reflected consciousness, chidabhasa. And in this reflected consciousness, everything, the buddhi, ahankar, all these come to life and they perform the action. Okay? So very clear, right? Now, who is the knower? Can anybody answer that? So I told who the doer is. Who's the knower? So karta, doer. We saw the doer. Karta. Anybody? Is the knower the sakshi? Okay, let me ask you that way. Anybody wants to answer? Is the knower the sakshi? Who's the one who really knows? Is it the sakshi?
Sakshi and doer both are different.
No, but is sakshi the knower? Knower. Doer is, we know it's different. We
Self,
saw that.
conscious, pure consciousness.
Pure consciousness. So that's what I'm asking. Is it the knower? No, who knows? Who understands everything? Where does this jnanam happen? Who's the one who knows everything, who understands everything, who finally grasps, analyzes, okay, this is how I have to do asana poses, all that stuff. Who knows that? Is it the
Intellect, buddhi.
sakshi? Huh?
Is it the intellect, the buddhi?
It's not just the intellect, it happens in the mind body complex. So this knowledge, the process of knowing and the knower, it happens only in the mind body complex, all the stored as memory and everything. So it is manaha. Manaha is full of memories and everything stored, feelings stored in the body throughout, from brain, every part of the body has memory. Okay, manaha. Buddhihi, intellect, that is the one which decides this way, that way, what to do, that to do. Buddhihi, ahankara, it gives a sense of ego. When you are interacting with the world, you need to know, compartmentalize things. So that gives you an identity. Mano, buddhi, ahankara, and then finally chitta. Chitta is the contents of the mind screen. Okay? So all this, everything is powered by what? The electricity. And what the electricity is, it's like consciousness. Okay? So the knower is this, not the pure sakshi. It is the mind body complex powered by the reflected consciousness. Once you pull the plug, there's no sakshi, and it's not there, then there's no knowing that takes place. Do you understand? So it is like a computer. The computer, you ask it these days AI, you ask a question, it'll give you the answer, right? It does all that, and it is happening. If you don't power it with electricity, it's not going to give, right? So consciousness is that which powers, it gives consciousness to everything. It's like that. Buddhihi, next is the buddhihi. Buddhir bhedam dhrutaischaiva gunatastrividam shrunu rochyamanamasheshena prutatvena dhananjaya. Okay, so the knower is the intellect plus mana, chitta plus ahankara. Knowing happens in the mind, not in the not at the purusha. The doer is the gunas we saw. So according to gunataha, so according to the gunas, buddhir bedam, threefold. The buddhir bedam is the division of buddhi. Trividam shrunu, the threefold division of buddhi. Trividam buddhir bedam shrunu. Listen to the threefold division of buddhi, which is the intellect. Dhrutescha eva, dhritihi is willpower, and also the dhritihi gunataha, according to the gunas, that is sattva, rajasam and tamasam. Sattvam, rajasam and tamasam. Prochamanam asheshena. Prochamanam means taught by me, asheshena means completely, and pritatvena means distinctly. Pochamana asheshena pritatvena dhananjaya. So listen to the threefold division of buddhi, intellect, and also dhritihi, willpower, according to the gunas, taught by me completely and distinctly. So he's speaking the next two topics. And finally, Sukham, he'll come to that later. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha karya karye bhaya bhaye bandham moksham cha ya veti buddhi sapata satviki. That intellect which knows pravritti. Pravritti means it's a path of activity. Pravritti and nivritti. Nivritti means no activity. It actually refers to sannyasa, renunciation, where you contemplate on the higher thing. Pravritti refers to karma marga. Karma marga is the means for jnana marga. Karma marga, karma yoga, all that, right? Nivritti is jnana marga, where once you attain the stability of mind through doing actions, you go and contemplate. Understood? So, pravrittim cha nivrittim cha karya karye bhaya bhaye. So, the intellect which knows parts of activity, sannyasa, that's pravritti, nivritti, then karya, akarya, right and wrong actions. Karyam is right action, karmas that take one towards spirituality. Swamiji calls this as karya. Akarya are karmas that take one away from the ultimate goal, from spirituality. So karya karye, bhaya bhaye. What gives security and insecurity? So people interpret it in different way. Fear and fearlessness. There are some things which you have to fear. You shouldn't do. So there are some things because it will give problems later on. Some things you should go and do bravely. Fearlessness. So that's one interpretation. Another bhaya is understanding what gives security and what gives insecurity. That's another way of understanding. You see the difference? So understanding what actions, if you do, you should be afraid of because it will cause problems later, and what actions, even though it looks scary, you have to go do it because it's good for you. Like that. And for example, when children, sometimes they're afraid of the water, but they have to learn to swim. So that fear, you have to have fearlessness there. So that is one way of looking at it. Another way is, what causes this fear? What gives me security? So that's another way of looking at it. Bandham moksham, bondage, as well as bandham is bondage into samsara, moksham is liberation. Cha e veti buddhi sa partha satviki. That intellect, sa buddhi partha satviki. So that intellect, so yeah, buddhi, sa buddhi comes first. That intellect which knows all this, partha satviki, it is called, O partha, it is called satvik buddhi. Okay, so in the scriptures, intellect is given a very, very, very important place, because intellect is the one which has to be very clear about what is the ultimate goal of life, and what are the incident goals, and what is the ultimate goal. So in the Kathopanishad, buddhi is compared to the driver. We've seen that example before, right? The driver must be informed, and also the driver has to be sober. Otherwise, the chariot will go crazily. So, buddhim tu saratim vidhi manah pragrahamevacha, all that we've seen before. Remember that the chariots are like the horses are like the senses. Indriyani hyayan ahuhu. The indriyani senses, they're like the horses. They just run hither and thither. They see something nice on the road, they run towards that. Mana pragraham, they're the reins to hold the senses. Okay. Buddhim tu saratim vidhi. And then the lord of the chariot is the self. Okay. Yaya dharmam adharmam cha karyam cha karyameva cha ayatavat prajanati buddhi sa partha rajasi. Yaya, that here intellect is not added, that buddhi, that yaya buddhi hi sa buddhi yaya, that intellect by which sa buddhi, sa buddhi yaya, that intellect by which one wrongly understands dharma and adharma. Okay. Ayatavat prajanati is the word that is used here. Ayatavat prajanam means to understand. Prajanam, to understand. Ayatavat means wrongly. That intellect by which one wrongly understands dharma and adharma. They confuse dharma with adharma. Karyam cha akaryam eva cha. Also prescribed and proscribed actions, duties. Karyam, prescribed duty. Akaryam, proscribed one duties one should not do. Ayatavat prajanati, that intellect is called rajasic intellect. Okay. Rajasic intellect is one that is riddled with doubt. So, which if you have full clarity, you will naturally take one path, dharmic path. But because this mind is riddled with doubts, so it does not have clear knowledge about anything. It has a lot of information regarding a lot of things, but the clarity is not there. Understood? So we've covered sattvic buddhi, rajasic buddhi. Let's go to the tamasic buddhi. Adharmam dharmamiti ya manyate tamasavrita sarvartan viparitanscha buddhi sa partha tamasi. That intellect, sa buddhi, that which views the adharmam itiya, which views adharma as dharma. Okay. Itiya manyate, which thinks of adharma as dharma. Tamasavritaha is enveloped in tamas. Tamas avritaha means enveloped, just covered with tamas. Ignorance. Tamas is ignorance. Sarvartan viparitanscha, looks at sarva arthan, all objects, all things. Viparitanscha, looks at everything in a perverted way. If somebody is, let's say, somebody needs a help, they are in a desperate situation, and they say, oh, can you please have the keys to my house, so and I need some help, can you please help me get that? And then you take that as an opportunity and steal from the person's house. So that is perverted way of looking at things. So sarvartan viparitanscha sa buddhi, that intellect, partha, tamasic, that is tamasic intellect. Tamasic intellect is firm regarding its false knowledge, and therefore the problem is what? You can never correct a tamasic person. Tamasic person is very sure about the knowledge, wrong knowledge as the right knowledge. So we have covered 4 topics: jnanam, karma, karta, and buddhihi. Okay. Now dhritihi, willpower. Dhritya yaya dharayate mana pranendriya kriyaah yogena vyabhicharinya dhritissa partat satviki. That willpower by which the functions, yaya dhritya, by which willpower, mana pranendriya kriya, means the functions here, kriya, the functions of the manaha, mind, and the prana, and the indriya, and the senses. Indriyas, the senses, functions of the mind, prana, and the senses, yogena avyabhicharinya, are held unswerving by yogic power, is called sattvic willpower. So a sattvic willpower is yogic willpower. That willpower by which the functions of the mind, prana, and the senses are held unswerving by yoga is called sattvic willpower. Sadhriti sattviki. So sadhriti partha sattviki. That willpower is called sattvic willpower. Okay. Yaya tu dharma kamatan dhritya dharayate arjuna prasangena pala kangshihi dhritissa pata rajasi. Yaya, tu means but, that by which, that intellect, that dhritihi, that intellect by which phalak kamarthan dityadarate arjuna phalakangshihi, one who's desirous of results due to what? Prasangena, due to attachment. One who's desirous of results because of attachment. Prasangena, firmly holds on to the pursuit. Dharma kamarthan dhrityadharayate, firmly holds on to the pursuit of dharma, that is righteousness, and kama, dharma, kama, artha, and artha, wealth, is called rajasic willpower. So there's nothing wrong. If you see, this person pursues everything other than moksha, this person pursues everything, all four purusharthas: dharma, kama, artha, moksha, right? So this person also pursues dharma like a king. King pursues dharma, pleasure, wealth, but and what is the drive? That if the person is desirous of results, phalakangshihi. So driven by the desire for results because of attachment. What is the compelling thing? Attachment. Prasangena. That person is called, that person's willpower is called rajasic. Sa dhritihi rajasic. Okay. Then finally, tamasic willpower. Yaya swapnam bayam chokam vishadam madam evacha na vimunchati dhurmedha dhriti sa partha tamasi. That firmness, yaya dhitihi, that firmness by which swapnam, it's basically here, swapnam means dream, here it means daydream, okay, by which daydream, bhayam, fear, shokam, grief, vishadam, depression, madam, conceit, all these, na vimunchati dhurmeda, these are not, that firmness by which these are not abandoned by a stupid man, stupid person. Dhurmeda means one of somebody of stupid intellect. So one who is not wise. Sa dhriti partha tamasi. That firmness, willpower, is called tamasic willpower. Tamasic willpower is that by which a person fanatically avoids karma. This requires willpower. So this person is so lazy. Person also holds on to certain things staunchly, keeps doing them, ignorance driven, hurting others. Swapnam na vimunchati, that person, so everything we have to add vimunchati. Swapnam na vimunchati, bhayam na vimunchati, vishadam na vimunchati. This person has a knack to get into grief and into depression, always. So that when the depression, that is a tamasic state. So this person builds castles in air because daydreams. Either this person is sleeping or sleepy. Swamiji says only these two avasthas. He does not have a state called jagrat avastha. This person is only two, sleeping or sleepy avastha. Shankaracharya calls it avashanna bhavaha. All the time this person is in a low. This is called vishada, depression. Vishadi, Dirgha Sutri Cha, Karta, we've seen that before. Karta, Tamasamuchyate. Okay. Then finally, we come to Sukham. So, happiness. So, last topic. Sukham tvidanim trividam shrunu me bharatarshava abhyasadramate yatra dukkantam cha nigacchati. And now, shrunu me, listen, hear from me. Tvidanim sukham. So, trividam to idanim sukham. And now hear from me the three types of happiness, O Bharatarshava, O best among the Bharatas, O Bharatarshava, O best among the Bharatas, to and means and now Shrunu, listen or hear, Trividam may from me, the Trividam, the three types of Sukham, three types of happiness in which one rejoices because of habit. Abhyasad ramate yatra, in which abhyasad ramate. Abhyasad means due to practice, due to habitual practice, one rejoices. That Sukham and this thing, yatra dukkant and dukkantam cha nigachati, and this person leads to the end, it goes to the end of sorrow. Dukkantam, one comes to the end of sorrow by this, but due to constant, what is emphasized is constant practice. Certain things like asana practice, meditation, you do every day, you get sattvic sukha. Okay, so Bhagavan is going to explain that in the next 3 shlokas. So these three shlokas are considered important, especially this one. It's quoted very often. Yadag yattadagre vishamiva pariname mrutopamam tatsukam satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam. Yet that which agre, in the beginning, agre means beginning, vishamiva looks like poison, pariname in the end, amrita upama means like, simile, like, so amrita upama, it is like nectar, that sukham satvikam proktam, that sukham is called sattvic happiness, and it is atma buddhi prasadajam, born out of the grace of one's self-knowledge. Atma buddhihi, self-knowledge. Prasadam is like a grace. It's born out of the grace of one's self-knowledge. Okay, understood? Next. Vishayendriya sanyogat yattatam yattadagre mrutopamam pariname vishamiva tatsukam raja samsmritam. Vishayendriya sanyogat, so which means due to contact of the senses with the sense object. Vishaya, sense objects, indriya, senses, samyogat, due to contact of, means uniting, contact of the senses with the sense objects. Yet sukham, that happiness which arises due to the contact of the senses with the sense objects, which is like agre amrita upam, which is like nectar in the beginning, and pariname vishamiva, and at the end it looks like poison. So people, when they indulge in certain bad habits, initially it looks innocuous and fun, but later it causes everlasting damage, like smoking. Initially they like it, but it hooks you and creates cancer. Okay, so that's what is emphasized here. So rajasic happiness. Yadagre chanubhande cha sukham mohanam atmanah nidralasya pramadotam tattamasamudahritam. So, yet agre cha anubande cha, that which deludes the mind in the beginning, and also later on, yet agre cha anubande cha, yet sukham, yad, sukham, it's left out, it's yet sukham here. Agre means in the beginning, anubande means in what follows, what happens next. So, which anubande, what does it do? Atmana mohanam, which atmana here refers to the mind, which deludes the mind in the beginning and also later on. Agre anubande, beginning, later on, and which is born out of nidra, alasya, pramada, uttam, and which is arising out of, or born out of, arising out of nidra, sleep, alasya, indolence, laziness, pramada, negligence. So that happiness which deludes the mind in the beginning and also later, which is born out of sleep, indolence, and negligence, is called tamasic happiness. So it's clear right from the beginning and end, it is just bad habits. It only causes grief. Rajasic, at least initially, it looks like a lot of fun, but later it gives problems. Sattvic, initially it looks difficult, but yet agre vishamiva pariname amrutopanam. Later on, it's like meditation. Initially, it's difficult to sit still, but slowly, slowly you control it, you do it, then it gives everlasting peace. So clear? So far. So we've covered the 6 topics. So now Bhagavan summarizes this. Natadasti, yeah, okay. Natadasti prithivyaam va dhivi deveshu va punakha sattvam prakriti chair muktam yadhe bisyatri gunai. Okay. Na tat sattvam asti. So here sattva doesn't refer to sattvic quality. It refers to sattvam star. It just refers to a being. And we've seen this before. I'll come to that. Na tat sattvam asti. Na tad sattvam asti. There is no being. Sattvam refers to a being. There's no being prithivyam, on the earth, va, nor again va divi deveshu, or again among the deveshu, means among the devas. Where are they? Divi, in the heavens. Nor again among the devas in the heavens, va punaha, or nor again in the, amongst the devas in the heavens. Prakriti chair muktam, that may be freed. Abhisya tribir gunai, from the 3 gunas born of Prakriti. So there is no being on the earth, nor again among the devas and the heavens, that may be freed from the 3 gunas born of Prakriti. So the sattvam word, we've seen that it is used in the context of a sentient being. Why I'm saying this, the same word sattva can be used with different meanings. So in different contexts, it can mean different meanings. Okay. So here, for example, in the 13th chapter, we've seen this. Yavat sanjayate kinchit sattvam stavara jangamam kshetra kshetrajna sanyogat tadviddhi paratarshaba. Yavat sanjayate kinchit sattvam stavar jangam, whatever being, sattvam, stavar jangamam, which is stationary or moving, jangam, stavaram, stationary or moving, whatever being. So it just refers to a being. Okay. So I'm giving a cross-linking so you know how the same word is used in different contexts, like atma. Atma, we know, can refer to, what all can it refer to? Anybody? Yeah, you're muted, Patya. You're muted. Yeah.
Consciousness.
Yes. And then what all can it refer to? Atma
Mind,
means self. Yes, mind.
body complex.
Yes, yeah, mind, sometimes mind body complex, all that. Just means self. Okay, good. So there's no being on earth or in the heavens that may be freed. So even the plants, if you, the 14th chapter, Bhagavan said the entire material universe is born out of Maya or Prakriti, which is the material aspect of the Bhagavan, Lord. From that Prakriti or Maya alone, the creation has come. And Maya is made up of three gunas. Therefore, all products of Maya are also made out of three gunas. Um, so, Swamiji here says, don't think only these three qualities have three gunas. As all any aspect in the universe, anything that you see, even animals, they are divided into sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Apparently, cow is considered a very sattvic animal. That's why it's revered. So, vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane ghavi hastini shuni chaiva shwapake cha pandita samadarshinaha. Shuni, sorry, Ghavi, Hastini, a she elephant. So that's lower in the order. So, um, a cow is considered very sattvic. Okay. So with this analysis of the six topics is over. Now, Bhagavan has talked about Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Is given some kind of a summary. He, after talking about the six topics, he finally conclusively gives a summary in a few shlokas. Summary of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and also he enumerates Bhakti in the last 11 shlokas of this section. Okay, so we will take that. So this is a very important portion. So a lot of important things are covered. So please pay close attention. Okay. So this is, he's talked about Karma Yoga here, Jnana Yoga, and then very bullet points, he's going to summarize everything here in this portion after analyzing the six topics. So this is the entire chapter is like a kind of winding down summary. Now, he starts with the duties. Remember, in the third chapter, Arjuna wants to escape to sannyasa. Bhagavan tells him, your duty is to fight as a Kshatriya. In the second chapter also, Bhagavan was telling that. So so that it sinks into Arjuna, he's again saying this. Brahmana Kshatriya Visham Shudranam cha parantapa karmani pravibhaktani swabhava prabhavairgunai. Okay. The duties of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya and Shudra are allocated according to the gunas born of their own nature. Okay. Gunas swabhava prabhavai. So, swabhava, born of one's own nature. Prabhavai means born of. So, swabhava prabhavair gunai. Gunas born of their own nature. Prabhavam means to arise, to born. Swabhava means one's own nature. Swabhavam, one's own nature. Prabhavam, arise. Gunai, gunas born of their own nature. So duties, Brahmana, Karma, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Parantapa, Karmani, the duties of these four classes, Pravibhaktani, are allocated according to the gunas born of their own nature. So, Bhagavan has talked about the two main themes already in the beginning of the 18th chapter, but since they're important, he summarizes them once again in the light of the guna knowledge. So he's saying the same thing, but in the light, he's talked about the three gunas extensively, right? Now he's talking about the summary in the light of the gunas. So 41 through 49, Karma Yoga summary, and 50 through 60. So you can say Bhakti, Jnana Yoga, or you can split it 50 to 55 Jnana Yoga, and then a little bit on Bhakti. Some people put that along with Jnana Yoga too, which is okay. Shamo dhamastapa shaucham shantirarchapam evacha jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma swabhavajam. Okay. So he talks about the duties of Brahmanas. Brahma karma swabhavajam. Here, Brahma doesn't mean Brahma, the Chaturmukha Brahma or the Brahman. So again, here Brahma refers to Brahmanas. Brahma karma swabhavajam. The duties of Brahmanas born of their own nature. Swabhavajam, born of their own nature. Cha means birth, to be born. Shamaha, serenity. Dhamaha, self-restraint. Tapaha, austerity. Shaucham, purity. Shantihi, patient. This is Sha, the Sha, not Shanti. Shanti is peace of mind. Shantihi is patience. Aharchavam, uprightness. Jnanam, knowledge. Vijnanam, that is realization of Brahman. Astikyam, belief in God. Asti is there, belief in God. These are the duties of Brahmanas born of their own nature. Krishna says Brahmana karma is the preservation and propagation of scriptural wealth. Dharma can give happiness even without luxury. A Brahmana has to be a role model to teach the society to follow dharma, and luxury is not a necessity for a happy life. This is the biggest teaching of the Vedas. Luxuries can give physical comfort, but happiness has nothing to do with physical comfort. Happiness has very little to do with physical comfort, but not much. Happiness is a inner state. This has to be taught to the society. That is why Brahmanas, they are not supposed to have money. In the olden days, they are supposed to live frugally. They never possessed wealth. The kings helped them. They gave services, but they never were wealthy. So they were the role model for the society of living a dharmic life. This has to be taught to the society, not verbally, but through the very lifestyle the Brahmana has to teach. Therefore, Brahmana's profession requires voluntary poverty and simplicity. In fact, a Brahmana's lifestyle was very, very close to a sannyasi's lifestyle. Except they were married and they had children, but it was very close. They did not, very frugal lifestyle. And not only should they learn the material sciences or apara-vidya, that is the vijnanam, that refers to, remember, para-vidya and apara-vidya. So, so material sciences is apara vidya. They should also be an expert in para vidya, the superior, like apara prakriti and para prakriti. Therefore, vijnanam means atma jnanam. Vijnanam is para vidya. Apara vidya is material vidya. So, jnanam, vijnanam are apara vidya and para vidya. Jnanam here refers to paravidya, aparavidya. Vijnanam refers to paravidya. Para means great, apara means not so great. So far clear? So then he talks about the duties of a Kshatriya. Shauryam tejo dhrutik daksham yuddhe chapya palayanam Dhanam Ishvara Bhavascha Shatram Karma Swabhavajam. Shauryam. The word Shauryam comes from Shura, means a hero. Shura means a hero. So we've seen that in the first chapter also. So when Krishna, when Arjuna, first Sanjaya is saying, right? So he is talking about the Shuras. Atra Shura Maheshwasa. So Dhritarashtra is asking, Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimakuruvat Sanjaya. What did, oh Sanjaya, my people, that is my sons, and the Pandavas do in this field of dharma, dharma kshetre Kurukshetra in the field of dharma and action. What did they do? And Sanjaya goes on to describe. Then he says, Atra Shura Maheshwasa Bhimarjuna Samayudihi Yuyudhano Viratascha Drupadascha Maharatah. They're great heroes like Bhima and Arjuna. And he goes on to describe everybody there. So why I'm saying that is, Shauryam comes from Shura, valor. That's the most important thing for a king. Tejaha, splendor, like a charismatic personality. Dhrutihi, firmness. He can't wave. He has to be king has to be very firm. Dakshyam, dexterity in administration. Yuddhe chap apalayanam. Yuddhe chapyapalayanam. So not fleeing a battle. Yuddhe chapi apalayanam. Not fleeing a battle. If the battle comes, bravely take it on. Dhanam, charity. Ishvara bhavaha. Ishvara bhavaha means leadership. Shatra karma, shatram karma swabhavaja. Shatram here refers to Kshatriya. Shatram, of the Kshatriya. So these are the duties of a Kshatriya born of their own true nature. Okay. So I'm not again going to cover the fourfold divisions of the society, because we've covered that extensively in the 4th chapter. So if you're going to ask, oh, so is this from birth or from other, it's from based on the nature. So we saw that in detail earlier on. Okay, so let's see. Okay, the 4 ashramas and also the gunas. Okay, in the 4th chapter we saw this division of society into 4 groups. They can base it on gunas, one's nature, which is what Bhagavan is saying, but later it became by karma, profession, and also by birth, because these are all, it happened in the society that way. But what Bhagavan refers to is based on the gunas, based on the nature. But for ease later on, the father would teach a profession to the son, so the son or the daughter may be very similar. So the division was also made based on the profession and the birth later. But this is what Bhagavan is trying to say. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so these are the, yes, Fatya.
Here the meaning of dhriti is firmness.
Firmness, yeah, willpower.
And before this, we saw dhriti means willpower.
Yes,
Both are
same,
different.
firmness. No, both are same. Willpower.
Okay.
King should have a great willpower. Firm, strong, so that even if there's an obstacle, he should stand the ground.
Okay.
Now, Vaishya and Shudra. So again, just I'm not going to go into the divisions, Brahmana, Vaishya, why all this, because refer to the 4th chapter. Bhagavan says the intention is based on gunas, but later, like all this teaching is of a person with a Brahmana quality. But later, when the father is a teacher, the son or daughter also becomes a teacher. Okay, so it became that way. Krishi Gauraksha Vanityam Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam Paricharyatmakam Karma Shudrasyapi Swabhavajam. Krishi, Gauraksha. Krishi is agriculture. Gau Raksha, Gau is protecting cattle or cattle rearing. Raksha comes from Raksha. Raksha means to protect. Gau Raksha means cattle protection or cattle rearing. Vanijyam, trade. These are the duties. Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam. These are the duties of Vaishyas born out of their true nature. Paricharyatmakam karma Shudrasyapi Swabhavajam. Paricharya means service of acharya. Parichar atmakam means giving one's service to people of respect. Acharya. Paricharya means other people who are respect worthy. Atmakam, I offering my services. So that's what it means. It means service consisting of, action consisting of service to others is the duty of Shudras born of their own nature. So then there are people who, they don't have leadership qualities. They cannot lead. They can only follow. They will do what they are told, not anything else. So they are not very skilled people. They are called Shudra by character. We are not talking about birth here. And the Shudra Guna, whoever has got, since they don't have leadership, let them serve other three groups of people. That's what Bhagavan said. And everybody has a mix of gunas, but the predominance is the one which determines your profession, your duty. Okay? Here you're talking about karma, which here means duty. Duty towards society in that way. Okay. Swe swe karmanyabhiratah samsiddhim labate narah swakarmanirata siddhim yatha vindati chachrunu. Swe swe karmani abhiratah. Abhiratah means devoted. Okay, being devoted, abhiratah, to swe swe karmani, to one's own duty. Samsiddhim labate naraha. Naraha, a person. Samsiddhim labate, attains the highest perfection by being devoted. Abhiratah. Rati means to delight. Ramati, to delight. Abhiratah, one who's very devoted, happily doing one's duty, the person attains the highest perfection. Swakarma nirata siddhim yata vindati tachrunu. How? Engaged in one's own duty. Swakarma nirataha. So engaged in one's own duties. Yata siddhim vindati tachrunu. How a person attains perfection. Listen to that. And then Bhagavan is going to talk some very important verses from the next shloka. So, and with this, we will conclude this class.